Stop whatever you are doing right now, because what came out in the last 72 hours just flipped the entire Papoose and Claressa Shields situation on its head. And I am not being dramatic when I say this might be the most embarrassing week a grown man has ever had on the internet without saying a single word. Papoose is missing. Not missing like nobody can find him. Missing like the man vanished from the exact moment his name started burning. And while Papoose is gone, a shirtless trainer named Dre is jogging in circles around Claressa Shields in Atlanta like it is a playground game, riding in her passenger seat, living in her city, and posting motivational speeches about her like he is the one on the payroll of her heart. And the wildest part? The receipts are not rumors. They are not anonymous sources. They are screenshots, casino footage, liked photos, and Remy Ma's own mouth, live, unfiltered, on camera, telling the world that Papoose is not getting half of anything. By the time this video ends, you are going to understand why Papoose went quiet, what Dre is really doing in that gym, and why Remy Ma just walked away looking like the only adult in the room. Stay locked in, because every single layer of this gets worse for Papoose. Every single one. Let us start at the surface, because the surface is already ridiculous. A clip surfaced of Claressa Shields in a training session, and at first glance it looks normal. Fighter, trainer, gym, sweat. But then you actually watch it and you realize something is off. Dre is not holding pads. Dre is not correcting her stance. Dre is running in a circle around Claressa Shields while she throws punches at nothing, and the man has no shirt on. Now I want you to think about that for 1 second. What boxing drill in the history of boxing involves a grown man jogging a lap around the fighter like he is playing duck duck goose? People online started calling it ring around the rosie, and honestly, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And when people started clowning the footage, Dre did not laugh it off. Dre got defensive. Dre jumped in front of it and basically told everybody criticizing the champ to get their goofy selves in a gym. Said she is not hiding anything, said instead of running your mouth, run some miles. Hold on. Why is the trainer doing press? Why is the trainer the one defending the honor of Claressa Shields like that is his post to guard? Where is the man who is supposed to be in her corner, the self-proclaimed executive, the head of the label, Papoose? Because Papoose was nowhere. Papoose has been nowhere for a while now, and we are going to get into exactly when Papoose disappeared and exactly why. But first you need the timeline, because the timeline is what turns this from funny into frightening. Go back to the early training footage from the start of the summer. Same gym energy, same champ, same Dre. Except in that footage, everybody has clothes on. Full shirts. Normal session. Professional. That was peak heat, the kind of summer where you could fry an egg on the sidewalk, and somehow Dre managed to keep his shirt on then. Now the season is turning, the air is cooling down, and suddenly the man is out there shirtless doing cardio orbits around Claressa Shields like a human hula hoop. The temperature went down and the clothes came off. Make that math make sense. And before anybody says I am reaching, I am just reading what the camera recorded. I did not direct the footage. I am just the messenger with a pause button. Now here is where it stops being a joke. Claressa Shields is not from Atlanta. Dre is not from Atlanta. But they are both in Atlanta together, and according to the chatter around the camp, she did not just hire the man, she flew him out, set him up, and after training she is the one driving him around the city. Listen to how backwards that is. The two-time Olympic gold medalist, the undisputed champion, the self-made millionaire, is playing chauffeur for the trainer she is paying. She flew him in, she houses him, she feeds him, she trains with him, and then she grabs the keys and drives him around town like he is the celebrity. And on top of that, she told everybody she is locking in for camp, said she is about to be juicing and grinding for 6 straight weeks before the fight. 6 weeks. 6 weeks of camp in Atlanta with Dre, while her actual partner, Papoose, is nowhere in the frame. You do not have to be a detective. You just have to be honest. 2 plus 2 is still 4, no matter how hard certain people try to make it 5. So naturally everybody is asking the same question, and I am going to ask it exactly the way the timeline demands. Where is Papoose? Where is the executive? Where is the man who built an entire public identity around standing next to greatness? Because the last time Papoose was loud, he was talking tough for the cameras and playing his role. The last time Papoose was visible, he was blowing on dice. And I am not being poetic. There is footage. Papoose, at a casino, hunched over a dollar machine, blowing on dice like he is trying to resuscitate them. then moving up to throwing chips with the desperation of a man chasing back money he never should have touched. And that matters because of what Remy Ma said. Remember what Remy Ma told the world. Remy Ma did not just hint at a problem. Remy Ma described it in high definition. She said she did not even bring up the $35,000 that got ran up on her card, said she just paid it, and then she said the part that should have ended every debate. It is a gambling thing, a real bad gambling problem over there. Her words. On camera. Calm as a judge. And from the moment Remy Ma said Papoose is not getting half of anything, from that exact sentence forward, Papoose went MIA. Coincidence? You tell me. The man was everywhere until the money got mentioned, and then Papoose turned into a ghost with a gambling habit. And this is the part where I have to introduce somebody, because those of us who have been watching this channel of chaos for a while know Papoose does not move alone. Papoose has an alter ego. Call it the voice on his shoulder. Every man like Papoose has two voices, the angel on one side and the little hustler on the other, and the little hustler is the one who tells him to pawn the jewelry, the little hustler is the one who tells him the dice are hot, the little hustler is the one who tells him to double tap a photo he has no business double tapping. That little hustler has been running the whole show lately, because the decisions Papoose has been making are not executive decisions. They are back alley decisions. Blowing on dice. Riding slot machines. Lurking in like lists. That is not a mogul. That is a man one bad weekend away from selling his watch. Now, some of you think the like list thing is a reach, so let me walk you through the receipts step by step, the same way they were laid out, because once you see the pattern you cannot unsee it. There is a young lady online, a pregnant artist, and Papoose has been very active on her page. Not on every post, though. That would at least look like business. No, Papoose has a filter, and the filter is the most telling thing about him. When she posts a video with her man in it, when her dude is standing right there next to her, the like list tells you who showed up. Claressa Shields liked it, her family liked it, friends liked it. Papoose? Nowhere. Papoose scrolls right past the ones with the man in the frame. But when she posts solo, when she is by herself, when she is glowing and it is just her in the picture, suddenly there it is, liked by Papoose. Post after post. Solo photo, Papoose. Solo video, Papoose. Photo with her man, silence. Another one with her man, silence. Then she posts from Puerto Rico, alone, shaking a little something, and guess whose name is sitting at the top of the likes like a season ticket holder? Papoose. And for the people saying it is promotion, it is a label thing, it is business, answer me one question. If it is business, why does the business only apply when the woman's man is cropped out of the frame? Why does the executive only clock in when she is alone? That is not an algorithm. That is appetite. And the most insulting part is that Claressa Shields herself is liking the couple photos like a normal supportive human, while her own partner is out here curating a highlight reel of another woman's solo moments. Be so serious right now. And since we are talking about the business, let us talk about the business, because the business is a joke with a logo. The label is called Win Records, and at this point the name is doing all the winning because the roster has not won anything anybody can point to. When was the last time Win Records did anything? Anybody? The people online cracked the code on the name and I cannot improve on it. They call it Win because you can get her when it is your turn. That is the whole business model. Papoose is the executive of a label whose biggest asset is a woman he did not build, whose money he did not make, and whose legacy he is spending like an allowance. An executive with no wins, gambling a champion's money, liking a pregnant stranger's solo photos, while his estranged wife is on live telling the world he cannot even afford a lawyer. That is the resume. That is the LinkedIn profile of Papoose in 2026. And because this story somehow keeps finding new basement levels, we have to talk about what a championship training camp is actually supposed to look like, because context is what turns suspicion into certainty. When a fighter of Claressa Shields' caliber locks in for a title defense, the camp has a structure. Strength coach, conditioning coach, sparring partners rotating in and out, nutritionist, a schedule tighter than a drum. What a camp does not normally include is the champion flying one specific trainer across the country, arranging his accommodations, and then personally shuttling him around a city neither of them is from. Boxing people looked at that detail and immediately raised their eyebrows because in boxing, the fighter is the sun and everybody else orbits. Here, the orbit got reversed. Claressa Shields is the champion, the draw, the money, the brand, and yet she is the one behind the wheel. And Dre, instead of keeping his head down and holding pads, is out here delivering speeches on camera about how the champ is not hiding anything and how the critics need to hit the gym. Sir, you are the trainer, not the publicist, not the bodyguard, and definitely not the spokesperson. The louder Dre talks, the more everybody asks why Papoose is not the one talking. And the answer keeps coming back the same. Papoose is busy. Papoose is busy at a dollar machine, breathing on dice like the dice owe him child support. Let us also address the defense squad before they type it, because I can hear the keyboards warming up already. They are going to say the like list receipts are circumstantial. They are going to say a like is just a like. Fine. Individually, sure, one like is one tap. But we are not talking about one tap. We are talking about a documented, repeatable, screenshot-verified pattern with a filter on it. A like is just a like until the likes have a rule, and the rule is only when she is alone. Patterns are what separate gossip from journalism. One casino sighting is a rumor. Casino footage plus a gambling confession from the wife plus $35,000 quietly paid off on somebody else's card. That is a dossier. One solo photo like is nothing. 10 of them with every couple photo skipped, that is a statement. And the statement Papoose is making without saying a word is the loudest thing in this entire story. Now let us get to the woman who walked into the storm and told nothing but the truth, because Remy Ma deserves her own chapter here. Remy Ma went live, no script, no publicist, and calmly dismantled the entire Papoose mythology in one sitting. When people asked why the divorce is dragging, she did not stutter. She said she can call her lawyer right now. Right now. And then she said she would meet at the lawyer's office that same weekend, and she invited the circus to come watch, said come be there, let us get everything done, let us sign everything in front of everybody. That is what a person with nothing to hide sounds like. And then Remy Ma aimed directly at the fantasy Papoose has been selling and popped it with one sentence. How am I refusing to sign anything when you do not even have a lawyer on retainer? Read that again. The man who reportedly told Claressa Shields he filed, the man whose side has been whispering that Remy is the holdup, does not have a lawyer. Remy Ma said it out loud. You do not have one. So who filed? What got filed? Where is the paperwork, Papoose? Because according to the woman who was married to you for 2 decades, there is no attorney, there is no retainer, there is no case, there is just a man stalling and a story being sold. And the stalling has a shape, and the shape is ugly. Remy Ma already told the world Papoose came to the table asking for half. Half. A man who, by her account and by the footage, has a gambling problem, who ran up $35,000 on her card that she quietly paid off, who has been MIA from every responsibility since the split went public, looked at the money Remy Ma earned with her name, her face, her tours, her work, and said he wanted half of it. She laughed it out the room. He is not getting half of a thing, she said, and the internet has been quoting her ever since. So put the picture together. Papoose demands half. Papoose gets told no. Papoose has no lawyer to fight for it. And Papoose disappears. That is not a divorce strategy. That is a man waiting on a miracle, hoping the roof caves in on the old house so somebody has to call him to come fix it, hoping something, anything, makes him necessary again. It is over, Papoose. Sign the papers you claim exist. Meanwhile, the champ has her own version of events, and this is where the story gets genuinely sad for Claressa Shields, because Claressa Shields went on record saying Papoose filed for divorce and that Papoose has a lawyer guiding him. She repeated the man's homework like it was fact. But the wife says there is no lawyer. So either somebody lied to the champ, or the champ lied to everybody else, and neither option is good. Claressa Shields is out here defending a storyline that her partner apparently never even purchased. She is defending paperwork that does not exist. For a man who is currently blowing on dice and liking pregnancy photos, while she flies trainers across state lines and drives them around Atlanta. Somebody loves somebody in this triangle. And it is very clear it is not being returned at the same exchange rate. And let me be fair to Remy Ma for one more paragraph, because people owe this woman an apology and the tab has been running for over a year. When the accusations first flew, people said Remy Ma was bitter. Said she was exaggerating. Said she was trying to ruin a happy couple. Then the casino footage dropped. Then the gambling quotes resurfaced. Then the like lists got screenshotted. Then the lawyer bluff got called on live television of the internet. Every single thing Remy Ma said has aged like evidence. And even when they tried to clown her love life, she handled it with the kind of poise money cannot buy. People called her new situation a downgrade, and she said what she said. I do not mess with people because of what they have, I like people because of how they treat me. Then she reminded everybody that a man with money is not automatically a prize, said she knows men who date billionaires and cannot get a cup of soup bought for them, and said the realest thing in this entire saga. You can only fool broke people into thinking you have more money than you do because people who really have it are looking at you like, please just stop. That last line is a sniper shot at the entire Papoose brand. The chains, the executive title, the label, the big talk about the money he made Claressa Shields. People who really have it are looking at Papoose like, please just stop. Downgrade? From what? From a man throwing chips at a dollar machine? From a man whose label never won? From a man asking his wife of 20 years for half while his girlfriend flies in the help? There is no floor low enough to downgrade to from there. It is equal or greater from here on out, and honestly, greater was not hard to clear. And before anybody says we are being too rough on Papoose, remember the details that slipped out about life inside that marriage, the stuff that never trended but should have, the arguments over nothing, the same hat for 20 years, and the day she finally threw that hat out while cleaning, the anger that followed. The anniversary posts where Remy Ma admitted she was sad, said she was just trying not to go into another year of the same cycle, said could we not do another year of this? That is a woman who held a marriage together long past its expiration date, while the man across from her was building parley slips and fairy tales. She stayed from her mid-20s. She married at 27. She stood by him through bids, through careers, through everything, and her reward was watching Papoose rebrand himself as a boxing executive with her as the villain for wanting out. No, the villain edit is closed. The receipts canceled it. And one more thing about the corner of the internet that keeps defending this man, because they deserve their own 30 seconds of shame. There is a whole ecosystem of accounts whose full-time job is protecting Papoose and Claressa Shields from the consequences of their own camera roll. Every time a receipt drops, here they come with the same 3 moves. It is fake, it is old, or it is none of our business. Then the receipt turns out to be real, recent, and posted publicly by the people involved, and the defense squad just moves the goalpost and waits for the next scandal like seasonal workers. I am not even mad at them anymore. I am fascinated. Imagine clocking in every day to argue that casino footage is a conspiracy and a like list is a coincidence. These are the same people who said Remy Ma was bitter, said Remy Ma was lying, said the divorce was being held up by Remy Ma, and then Remy Ma went live and offered to meet at the lawyer's office that weekend with the doors open and the pens ready, and suddenly the whole squad went quiet as a library. Where is that energy now? Where is the filing they swore existed? Papoose told a story, Claressa Shields repeated the story, the squad defended the story, and the wife asked one question, where is the lawyer, and the story evaporated. That is not me being mean. That is me reading the scoreboard. So now we arrive at the question that ties all of it together, the one sitting on the table like the last chip in the pot. The fight is coming. Claressa Shields has a real camp, a real opponent, a real 6 weeks of work ahead of her, and the entire internet will be watching that arena. Will Papoose show up? Will the executive finally clock in and stand in the corner he claims he built? Because the pattern says Papoose only appears where the cameras are flattering and the dice are warm. If Papoose walks into that arena after disappearing through the gambling revelations, the lawyer bluff, the likeless scandal, and the shirtless Atlanta footage, then Papoose is shameless beyond medical help. And if Papoose stays hidden, then every single thing Remy Ma said was true and the whole executive act was a costume. Either way, there is no version of Fight Night that saves him. That is the trap this story built all by itself. Here is the moral of everything you just heard, and it is the same lesson this saga keeps teaching over and over. The loudest man in the room is usually the one hiding the emptiest pockets. Papoose spent years selling the image of the loyal king turned power executive, and in one summer, a shirtless trainer jogged circles around that image, a live stream from Remy Ma repossessed the narrative, and a casino camera took the rest. The empire was a prop. The divorce filing was a rumor. The loyalty was a like list. And the only people who told you the truth from day one were the ones you were told to ignore. Now the floor is yours. Was Papoose wrong for those likes? Or is the internet doing too much? Should Claressa Shields clean house before the fight? Or does none of this matter once the bell rings? And the big one, does Papoose show up to that arena or not? Drop your prediction below because the comment section is going to be a battlefield, and I will be reading every single one. If you are new here, you already know what to do because this story is nowhere near finished, and when the next receipt drops, and it will drop, you are going to want to be subscribed and in this building the second it lands. The next chapter is already loading. Do not miss it.